Hello and welcome to the next episode of our live streaming series. I'm Robin Blanford. I'm the Chief Executive at D4H and company founder. And today I'm on here to discuss biometric authentication in our mobile apps. So it's a chance to ask questions live. I can bring up any questions asked in the comments immediately on here. You can ask them on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, Periscope, on LinkedIn, anywhere where you're watching this. If you type in a comment, it should come up here and I'll try and answer them. So we'll allow a couple of people to arrive in here to this live stream. If you want to rewatch any of these streams, you can find them on our YouTube channel. Subscribe there. We've got recordings of them all. We also put any discussions with guests on our podcast, and you can search for our podcast on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you'd like. So there's lots of opportunity there. So today what I'm going to do, primarily we're going to talk about biometric authentication. So let me just get my phone here. So I'm going to hook my phone up here to the screen. You'll be able to see my phone. I'm glad to take any questions. I can do anything other than biometric authentication at the end. So do ask the questions and I'll ask them. But really, I'm just going to explain what biometric authentication is, why we have it in our D4H apps, and why you should be using it. So first off, let's talk. What is it? Well, effectively, biometric authentication is a security process that uses your unique biological characteristics to verify an individual is who they say they are. So, for example, we've got our thumbprint. Okay, so take your fingerprint, and we've all got unique fingerprints. I can use that fingerprint to verify that it is me. And obviously, there's extremely unlikely that two people have the same exact same print. And you've probably seen that on your phone, right? This is existing technology. Put your fingerprint on a fingerprint reader on your laptop, phone, wherever it is, and it can verify it's you. Another way is facial recognition. So I can look dead down the camera and the computer identifies where my eyes are, spacing, nose, mouth, spacing. It tries to identify my face and facial features. And you'll be familiar with that on your phone as well. So Touch ID is the fingerprint on iOS, Apple iOS. Face ID is their facial recognition. Android is the same, has the fingerprint. But Android, I don't believe they've got an Android facial recognition, although Samsung have it on some of their phones and a couple of other vendors. It's not usable by us to do facial recognition. So I think Android tops out at thumbprint and what we can use. So what happens? Well, why do we want to use this? Well, we're all familiar with our phones and them being secure. So my phone has a PIN code to access it. But it's very common for people, whether it's a work device or a personal device, that the PIN code or Face ID or Touch ID doesn't time out very quickly. So you have it, you've unlocked it by looking at it, doing your thumb. You put it down on a table, and someone gets to it before it relocks. Okay, so that's one critical thing. The other thing is you might be passing it to somebody else. So I give you my phone to make a phone call on. I pass it to a child or another family member. It might be my personal phone running a work application. Okay, so it's bring your own device. But I might pass it to somebody. So somebody else, either a family member, friend, or somebody has my phone, and I've unlocked it for them to be able to do that. Well, applications used for the workplace that contain sensitive information should be locked. So when I open the phone, even if I'm doing something else, I can't get in. So let's take a look at that. We'll begin to take a look here. So I'm going to bring my phone up on screen. Here we go. Okay, see if we can get this nice and big. There we go. Okay, so I've got my phone here up on screen. And what happens is when I try and go to the application, right, it's going to ask to see my face. Now, I've got my face to the side so it can't see me. Now, the minute I bring my face in, it lets me into the D4H app. Okay, same with a thumbprint, same with anywhere else. Now, if you've got any questions about this, do ask them in the comments. So this is just a web page. I'm going to open the D4H app again. You see it asks for my face, sees my face, and it's absolutely instant. So if I come off and back on, you won't even see it hardly. There it is, and it opens straight away. But if that was somebody else with my phone, when they switch to this app, they're not going to see the content of it. So that's the first thing. What's happening is we are locking the phone and you need your biometric details to open it again. Okay, and it will automatically time out to require that. Thumbprint, Face ID. Okay. The next thing is that the data in the app, what we do is when you sign in with your username and password, we receive from the D4H servers a token, a credential token. And that's what we use to get content for the app. So when I go in or out of these objects here in the app, I'm requesting the data every time it checks my credentials through this token. Well, all of that and the content in this app, the minute I go like this and come off it, it's encrypted at rest. So it's actually encrypted there in the background until I give it my face again. And that gives it permission to access that token again. So all the data ends up encrypted at rest. Every time you move off, it's encrypted. I come back on and decrypt it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is ensuring my data is safe at rest. And that means that no other app or anything else running on the device can access those credentials. They are encrypted with your biometric information. Okay. So this won't be too long a session. We'll probably top out at about 10 minutes here. The other thing I just want to talk about is there's an automatic timeout. So no matter what happens in the background, it's going to lock the device and encrypt it back with your biometric information. But you'll also see that the minute I do that and I start switching app, the screen is gone, and that's not normal. So you'll see here, if I come back from that, I can still see the contents of that web page. Okay, but the equipment app there has been blanked out. And what that does is it stops people taking any screenshots. So when I go to change app, we immediately blank the screen. And it means that nobody can access that data again without your biometrics. So if I hadn't come off the screen there. So you'll see the minute I come back, there it is. Look, I can't get into it again without facial recognition. So what we're doing there is we're protecting it with a screen lock as well. So there's both a screen lock and the biometric authentication encryption at rest. So this is a very, very secure manner to have work data on a personal device or just work data on a device that you want the protection for. Okay. So glad to take any questions in here. I'm going to drop that phone away off here. This is built in by default into the app. So what happens is the minute that you begin to sign in, you put in your username and password. Thank you, Michael. The minute you put in your username and password in the app, there's a little toggle box that says, do you wish to biometrically lock this? It's on by default. Just sign in and you're through. If you are unable to use your fingerprint, so you're unable to use it, it gets covered in oil, you're in gloves, or your facial recognition isn't working, your camera's damaged, you can always log out and log back in again and it'll reset it all. It'll re-encrypt your data with the new credentials. So don't worry about that. That's no problem at all. To get out of it, you can log out and sign back in. If you don't have biometric authentication on the device, or it's a shared device, some of our clients will have a iPod Touch or an iPad or iPhone or whatever it might be, or Android tablet as a shared device in the station. You cannot use biometric authentication, so just turn that off if you're sure of the security of the device, and you do that at login, so that's no problem as well. Okay, I hope that's been useful. This video is recorded. It'll be on our It'll be on our main YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch it back afterwards. Very glad to take any questions. You know how to get us at support@d4h.org. And if you want to try out the biometric authentication, it's available in the App Store on our 3 apps: Incident Management, Equipment Management, and Personal Training. And you'll see if you update, if you upgrade your app, sign back in, and next time it'll enable that biometric authentication. So you may have to sign out and back in, but then you'll have it, and you'll see it works absolutely seamlessly. So thank you very much. Very glad to have done this. Send us your questions and we'll cover them in any other live stream. Talk to you soon.